Good evening. Today is Thursday, October 24th, 2024. This is our 7 p.m. Regularly scheduled council meeting. And this evening, we have, there he is, we have Father Mike doing our, from Our Lady of Victory Church, doing our opening prayer. And I hear that this may be one of your last opening prayers, sir.
I think it is the last.
Yeah. Well, thank you, sir, for your years of coming into council and doing this for us. Thank you. If you can please stand.
We come before your presence this night, O God, gathered together and in your presence. You have charged those in authority to guide and lead the people of our city so that all may be cared for and respected, and so that the common good might be upheld and your justice might always prevail. Fill our hearts and the hearts of those entrusted to the care of those in government, so that they may always stand before you, and with your Holy Spirit, guide your people. With you alone to guide us, make yourself at home in our hearts, so that in the words of your prophet Micah, we may always do justice, love goodness, and walk humbly with you, the Creator of all that was, is, and ever will be. Clothe us in civility, and do not let discord lead us down the wrong path, nor personal agendas influence our actions. You are the source and origin of all unity. Help us to find unity in our diversity, so that we may journey together in our search for truth and what is right. All of this we ask you, O God, who are at work in every place, time, and circumstance, forever and ever. Amen.
Thank you, sir. In this evening, we have the Pledge of Allegiance by Brownie Troop 91279. So if you young ladies would like to step up to the podium area. Thank you, girls. All right. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Jonathan Bolus.
Here.
Adam Bozick.
Here.
Jessica Epstein.
Here.
Mary Gutman.
Here.
Donald Pavlik.
Here.
Ted Roy.
Here.
Nick Rubino.
Here.
Thank you. We are all present this evening. Item 4, correcting and adopting the previous meeting minutes from 10/10/2024, council meeting minutes.
So moved.
We have a motion to adopt
A second.
meeting minutes and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. Madam Clerk, call roll.
Adam Bozick.
Yes.
Jessica Epstein.
Yes.
Mary Gutman.
Yes.
Donald Pavlik.
Yes.
Ted Roy.
Yes.
Nick Rubino.
Yes.
Jonathan Bolus.
Yes.
Meeting minutes are approved, 7-0. Item 5, financial reports. We currently have none this evening. Item 6, public hearings. We have no public hearings this evening. Item 7, community input. It's at this point in the meeting that anyone from the audience that would like to come up to the podium and speak can do so. You'll be given 2 minutes. We give you some leeway. So just state your name and your address. I believe we have one tonight confirmed.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Sue Christopher, and I live at the Testa Building, 100 North Avenue, apartment 302, here in Tallmadge. And I just wanted to, I spoke briefly with the mayor, and I know there's probably nothing that can be done about this, but I really wanted to ask your help. The motorcycle traffic down North Avenue is just getting unreasonable. It sounds like the Autobahn for motorcycles. They're coming from Cleveland, going to Akron, and they're constantly passing my building where Wally Waffles is located. And it's just, we never get a minute's peace. I'm just really frustrated. I'm going to be 70. It's a senior building. It's too close to the road because we're hearing all of the traffic. And then to have to put up with 8 or 10 or 12 motorcycles coming down. And we even get it at church. Father Mike is here. He's trying to give his homily or say mass, and there's 8 or 12 motorcycles going behind the front of the church where he's standing, and we're trying to hear him, and all these motorcycles are blowing by Sunday morning, and it's just really making me a nervous wreck. Fortunately, winter is coming, so they won't be able to ride them. But I hate winter, but I'm praying like crazy that the snow will fall because I'm just so disgusted with so many motorcycles blowing through here, and just wondering if there's something that you can do to make an alternate route or something where they're more on the outskirts of town, like North Monroe and Howe, where the houses are further back from the street and they're not getting hit with the noise like we are because we're right up here near the circle, right up by North Avenue, and we're getting all this noise, and there's never a minute's peace. So that's my concern.
All right, thank you, Sue. I think we'll have to take a look into that. I don't know exactly right off if we have a sound ordinance on vehicles on the roadway, but we will definitely take a look. So, thank you. Are there any other community input at this point in time? Nope. All right, moving on to item 8, agenda additions. Do we have any additions this evening, members of council, administration? No? Item 9, reports of administrative officers, starting with Mayor Kilway.
Thank you very much. As we discussed a little bit last week, we indicated we had a firefighter that was on Ohio Task Force 1 and deployed down into the areas affected. We do now have permission to let you know that it was Battalion Chief Andy Miller. His first day back on shift was yesterday, so he is back. And then just the history on his search and rescue mission that he was on in response to Hurricane Helene and Hurricane Milton. He was deployed to Florida on the September 24th, was staging for Hurricane Helene and assisting in Pasco and Hernando counties in Florida until post-landfall. They later mobilized in Asheville, North Carolina for flood response efforts, and then returned back to Florida to support the recovery for Hurricane Milton. And we're just very fortunate to have someone on our staff that can leave their community, he leaves his family, and he goes and does a job that is not very fun. Search and rescue after these events is pretty horrific. So I know many of us around here were saying prayers for him and his safe return. He's back, and just when you see him next time, please give him a thank you. He's doing a lot for us. On the police department update, Tallmadge Police Department is partnering with Stowe and Cuyahoga Falls to offer a Summit Metro Police Cadets program. And this is for youths aged 14 to 20 and interested in law enforcement. The participants will meet 1 to 2 times per month to explore various criminal justice fields, with each department rotating as hosts. Cadets also have the opportunities to volunteer at community events and to participate in ride-alongs with officers, and that's the only way that minors can do ride-alongs is through a program like this. The orientation was tentatively scheduled for January with a regular meeting starting in February. Stowe Police is going to host the open house on October 29th at 7 o'clock for interested candidates and their guardians. So if you know anybody that's interested, Officer Colin Hefner will be serving as Tallmadge's advisors for the group. So if you know someone, please let Officer Hefner know about that. and the department previously participated in a similar program that ended in 2020 due to the pandemic. And Officer Hefner has been very instrumental in reviving this police cadets program. And I think that's a great way to get more people interested in our police service, because Lord knows we need more. A little bit of really great news that I received just several days ago is that Eastern Summit County is going to be getting a new newspaper. Okay? Ben Wolfert is the editor of The Portager, which is the newspaper that was started about 5 years ago after the Record Courier was bought out by Gannett. And it's become a very great asset for residents and businesses. They were awarded a grant from Press Forward to fill local news gaps, and they became aware of the gap in Eastern Summit County. We've seen a reduction in local news coverage since the sale of the local papers to Gannett. When the Stowe Century closed, he launched the Spotlight, and that filled that void for Stowe. And so starting in November, they're going to launch a new newspaper in Summit County to give residents information about what's going on and what's happening in their cities, villages, and township. It's going to be called the Summiteer, and the website is thesummiteer.org, so you could reach out to that. I think the first issue, it might only be online, but it will be a paper newspaper as it moves forward. And we do have our own reporter that's been assigned to us. We've already had a meeting with him. So if there's anything that we want to make sure we get out to them, please let me know. I have a standing meeting set up with him, and we can make sure that all of our news gets broadcasted that way. The City and the Schools newspaper, or newsletter, the circular, should be arriving in your mailboxes anytime this week. I know mine came yesterday, so most people in Tallmadge should get them this week. Trick or treat is scheduled for Thursday, October 31st from 5:30 to 7. Please put on your porch lights if you're participating in handing out candy on trick or treat. November 11th is the Veterans Day ceremony. It's scheduled for 10 o'clock a.m. at the Historic Church. Tallmadge is participating along with the city of Stowe, Monroe Falls, Silver Lake, Hudson, and Cuyahoga Falls in a multi-city clothing drive where we will be joining together to collect cold weather gear for the homeless. This is something that Stowe and Monroe Falls and Cuyahoga Falls have done, and they've added Silver Lake and Hudson and Tallmadge to this group. So we're going to be collecting donations that can be dropped off during the business day here at City Hall from November 11th to December 15th. Anytime between 7:30 and 4 o'clock p.m., we're going to have some bins out in the lobby. Please, if you have any gently used or new cold weather gear, boots, socks, gloves, hats, scarves, coats, any of that stuff, if you want to donate them, please get them here to City Hall. We're also going to host a drive-through drop-off event on Saturday, December 7th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. here at City Hall, and we'll just do a drive-through through the parking lot, and I'll be staged right out here to help pick up things and go forward that way. The strategic planning process continues. We've held 5 focus groups. The next significant event is the town hall meeting, which is scheduled for November 19th at 5:30 p.m. It will be at the community center, and all community members are invited to participate in the town hall meeting. This is how we will get your voices heard so that we can plan the next 5 years of our city. On August 17th, I attended the Akron Canton Builds Construction Expo at the Summit County Fairgrounds. It featured 16 different trade and union centers along with 25 industry-leading contractors, all focusing on connecting students and job seekers with rewarding careers in the skilled trades. I value the skilled trades very, very much. I think that's the future of our country. We need people to go into these trades. And so this was a great event that I was very happy to participate in. As I was walking around, I see someone that I went to high school with, and here he's the president of the Tri-County Building Trades. And he was one of the ones that helped put this event all together. And there were thousands of students from many different schools. They're seeing all of the different trades that are available, the construction trades, the technology trades that are out there. It was really a great event. I was very happy to attend that. We also had our electronics recycling event was this past Saturday. Community participation was high. We had 307 cars dropping off 16 pallets of items. We also had the Outsmart the Scam workshop was held this past Saturday. It was at the high school, and I want to thank our county executive, Eileen Shapiro, and our Summit County Council Representative, Christine Hyam. We also had Summit County Prosecutor, Elliot Kolkovich, and Summit County Sheriff, Candy Fatherly, were all in attendance bringing this event to Tallmadge. It was very well attended, and it provided a lot of information about all the scams that are out there. There were a number of people in attendance, and they did a great job. I also had the opportunity to speak with residents at the crossings during the at the crossings at Northwest Condominiums, their tenant meeting. They had a lot of questions. I was there with firefighter Sandy and with Captain McGee as well, just answering questions about what's going on in the city. It was a great event, and that's about all I have. It's been kind of busy, so any questions?
Thank you. Any questions for the mayor? No, thank you for the report.
Thank you.
Moving on to our Director of Administration.
Good evening, Council President Bozick, council members, administration. Just a few updates tonight. A reminder that the Special Joint City Council Planning and Zoning Committee meeting work session on the overlay is scheduled for Tuesday, October 29th from 5 to 6 p.m. That meeting will be broadcast live on YouTube, and then, of course, residents, if they missed it, can go back and watch it at a later time. Business and retention and expansion visits continue. We've held 4 since the last meeting, and that's a great way to meet our businesses and see what their needs are and explain how we can help them if they're looking to do any large expansion. The budget process continues. The work session is scheduled for November 6th, so I'll be providing your budget books by next Thursday in the council's office, so you'll have a week to review those in detail. I'm using the same format that Director of Administration Stritch used for the last several years. So I'm be finalizing them over the next day or two, and then we'll be printing them early next week. If you have any questions, once you've received those or at any time, please feel free to reach out to me. Union negotiations are ongoing. No updates since last 2 weeks ago's meeting. And pending your questions, that's all I have for this evening.
Thank you, sir. Any questions for Director of Administration? No? Moving on to Director of Public Service.
Good evening. Just real quick, as the mayor has mentioned, the Veterans Day is Monday, November 11th.
Yeah.
Sue, if you could go to the next slide, please. And it starts at 10 a.m. and it's always a good event. And then the next slide, please, Sue. Leaf pickup. We're a week out yet. We'll probably get the leaf vacs out running. We might do some dry runs and start picking up some leaves, but we're still a week out. As you can see, you can always bag your own leaves. The orange section is the first section we're going to do. We usually takes about 3 days to get through a section. We usually leapfrog to not the next section, it's the section behind it. So we leapfrog to the teal section or the purple section. So we're always skipping the section that's next. That way we're not making twice as much work for ourselves. So we're about 2 weeks out yet. So that's it for my report, unless there's anything. Oh, and November 6th is the bid opening for the Macca Park restroom. So we should have those numbers before the next meeting. And that's it, unless there's any questions.
Thank you. Any questions for our service director? No. I do have one. Thank you for sending those biographies of the individuals for the Veterans Planning Commission or Planning Committee. That needs to be voted on by council prior to the beginning of next year.
January, yes.
Okay. All right. So, thank you. Moving on to Director of Finance.
Thank you. I have no report this evening, but if anybody has any questions, I'll be glad to answer those.
Any questions for our Director of Finance? Now, we're going to save those all for the budget meeting, so. Moving on to Director of Law.
Thank you. I just want to take the opportunity to remind everybody that we do have our prescription drug take back that is happening on October 26th. All people need to do is pull into the back part of the parking lot. There'll be signage to direct you where you need to go. You don't even have to get out of your car on that day between 10 and 2. We would encourage people to use that opportunity to clean out their cabinets of any of their unused. We will take over-the-counter medication as well as prescription medication. So bring it to the police department. There is a dump box if you're not able to go, that you do need to get out of your car and go into the lobby, and you can deposit those items there at all hours. But again, this is just a good reminder and a way to get people to bring that out. And we usually get lots and lots of medication, so encourage everybody to do that as a safe way to dispose of that medication. Also want to encourage everyone to recognize Red Ribbon Week. Normally, Red Ribbon Week leads right up into Drug Take Back Day on Saturday, but because we have the extra kind of week and we have that fifth week the way it falls, we decided to go in conjunction with the schools so that we can recognize their efforts there too and celebrate the week of October 27th. So we would ask everyone to wear red on Monday, October 28th. If you happen to have an elementary school or middle school child, I know they're pushing students or encouraging students to wear red as well, to encourage people to say no to drugs if they're older, or just make healthy choices if they're younger. Those are the messaging that we want to make sure that we work in solidarity with our school district as they promote that as well. So post your pictures on Facebook and wear red on Monday. Thank you. End of report.
Thank you. Any questions for our law director? No, I just have one question. In regards to the drug take back, should they be in the bottles, out of the bottles? Does it matter?
We will take them either way. If you want to black out your name before you bring them, you can do that. That saves us time. But we will go through and we do black out all of the names before we dispose of the trash and the bottles. So if you don't have time to do that, then we will take it and we will do that for you. But it does save us time if you have the time to do that ahead of time.
Great, thank you.
Thanks.
All right. Moving on to item 10, reports of standing committees of Council of the Whole, starting with our Planning and Zoning Committee, Councilwoman Gutman.
Thank you. I'll call Planning and Zoning to order. We have nothing before us tonight. Does anyone have anything for Planning and Zoning? Okay, then seeing nothing, I'll close committee.
Thank you. Moving on to Finance, Councilman Pavlik.
I call Finance meeting to order. Finance Committee deals with budget, appropriations, reappropriations, bonds, franchises, investments, and expenditures. Currently, we have 3 ordinances, all in first reading, being presented tonight. Ordinance 2024-65-Exhibit A, public hearing is scheduled for December 12th, 2024 at 7:03 p.m. Is adopting a budget for various funds for the city of Tallmadge of Ohio for current expenses and other expenditures during fiscal year ending December 31st, 2025, appropriating the necessary funds for the administration thereof, authorizing transfers between the funds, and providing for immediate enactment. Sponsor of this ordinance is Mayor Carol Kilway. This ordinance has been read into record. Mayor Kilway, is there anything you wish to add at this time?
Not at this time, because you don't even have the whole budget in front of you, so you have a highlight that was attached to this. But hey, if you want to go ahead and just approve it at first reading, that'd be great. I'm teasing. Yeah, well, there'll be a lot of a discussion later on. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any questions or comments from council? Hearing none, we will move on and move it to second reading. Next up is ordinance 2024-67, Exhibit A, tracted, amending and supplementing ordinance 2023-84 to amend rates, changes, and fees for all the recreational facilities and providing for immediate enactment. Sponsor of this ordinance is Mayor Kel Kirway. This ordinance has been read into record. Mayor Kilway, do you wish to add anything on this ordinance?
Sorry. You've received the recreation grid fee, the tract document, all the changes are in red. My eyes are not working real well right now. So the first one going through the list is the sports admission fees. Right now, they are at $3, and they're requesting to change it up to $5 for all spectators. It's all spectators age 6 and up. Just makes it a little bit more uniform. The next item is the 7-day free trial. Right now, they offer a free 7 consecutive day membership for anyone that has never had a valid Tallmadge Rec Center membership in the last 12 months. And it can be used once per person, and they want to do it, and it used to be used once per person for that person's lifetime, so you could only ever have one free 7-day pass. And now, so they're gonna do it, they wanna change it for once every 2 years, you know, because some people get in and out of their exercise routine, and so they wanna check to see if the rec center is something that they would want to go to in order to go back to working out. So every 2 years, they can get a free 7-day membership in order to check the place out again. That's the next proposal. The next item is the change in the grid for the MACA Aquatic Center membership rates. And you can see there's no change in the resident rates and little changes in the non-resident rates. And then they're also asking to change the daily admission fees for all people as well. And then down on the Parks and Rec Center's facility rental rates, the racquetball court, they want to make sure that it's free to blue, gold, and insurance-based members. And then that's during the off-season. And then during the in-season, they want to do $20 per hour for all other membership types and non-members. And those are the tracked changes.
Thank you. Is there any questions or comments? Council?
Yes,
Oh, I'm
Mr.
sorry, I must have skipped a page, sorry. Thank you. Oh, okay, sorry. Another one is the community center rental special considerations. So we do have, on other rentals, we have a Tallmadge-based nonprofit rate for other type of rentals throughout our rec departments. And they would like to add one for the community center. It would be $30 per hour for meeting rentals, Monday through Thursday between 7 a.m. and 4 p.m. That would, be to allow some of our nonprofits to use the community center for like a monthly meeting or something like that. So it's just an option that's out there that can be utilized for any of our Tallmadge nonprofits. And also for the Ritchie Center, they would like to add that as well for the same parameters, $30 per hour for meeting rentals, Monday through Thursday, 7 a.m. to 4 p.m.
Thank you. Ms. Gutman, I think you had a...
Thank you. I wondered if you could speak more to the increase in the MACA daily rates, that there's significant increases. And what some background on that decision?
Well, I know last year they came in front of council and asked for the increase, and it was denied last year. As you know, MACA is extremely expensive to operate, and for those that come in for a daily admission, they just feel that according to comparables throughout the area, changing it for ages 3 to 12 for $15, ages 13 to 59 up to $20, and then ages 6 and up to $10, regardless of residency. It's more in line with other comparables, and it also helps cover the cost of the lifeguards that we're now going to have to, we're having difficulties not only hiring lifeguards, but getting them to work the hours that are needed. So we would like to hire more lifeguards because it's not more hours that we're going to be using, but they can clear up the hours that are needed. So if we have 10 lifeguards and they're only going to work, 6 or 7 hours a week, you need those 10 hours, or those 10 lifeguards for the 60 hours. Trying to get them to work more hours throughout the summer has been very hard, People don't want to work 40, 50 hours a week as a lifeguard. And you get a lot of lifeguard blindness with that too, so you don't want to overwork them either. So just helps to finance the need for lifeguards.
Are we considering raising their pay?
Yes, that's part of the budget too,
Okay.
is raising their pay so that we can attract more lifeguards. The number of hours that we're going to be using them is still basically the same, but we're going to pay them a little bit more money so that we can attract more of them.
So, given that I understand that costs have gone up, but I do have concerns that it's not an accessible facility for some of our families. And so I wanted to propose maybe 2 solutions we could think about. One would be letting each resident have the option of purchasing like a one-time discounted pass at maybe a half-off rate. We do give guest passes that our annual members can give out.
Right.
So I think there's
Yeah, I
a
think-
precedent in giving a discounted visit. Or another proposal could be that our children that are on maybe the free lunch program or some other criteria that we use could purchase a pass or daily visits at a reduced rate. That way they have a chance to go to the pool too. So if
Okay.
we could be open to either of those, some combination thereof or something different, but I would like to see that we're not shutting people out completely.
Okay, we will take that back to Jessica and see what she can do for something like that. I know it would be pretty hard to administer and quantify or qualify who would get those reduced passes based on like the free lunch program. How are they going to, prove that they're on that program? And how then is our front desk going to be able to manage that? That's just the struggle that I see that would happen off the top of my head. I don't mind doing it, but if we're going to do something like that, let's put together a program that can identify that a little better.
There's certainly other criteria you can use that are easier to document,
Okay.
for sure. There's various criteria, that use for like kind of means testing, but
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't have any problem, doing something like that. If you have some ideas that you would want to send me an email, and I can sit down with Jessica and we can work something out to add it onto the grid, because now's the time to do that. Okay? Perfect.
yeah, I can put that into an email.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Is there any other questions?
I had a question. First off, just want to say thank you for meeting with the Tallmadge Little League board last week. Just wanted to ask a follow-up on if there had been any determinations as of yet regarding where the Tallmadge Little League would fall within the grid that we're looking at here, or if they would just align to the current structure that we have in place for when the gene administrative facility is closed.
They would align under the Tallmadge nonprofits.
Okay.
And in the month of May, we're reserving Court 4 for them so that they'll have access to rent that at that time. So it won't get, booked out before, by anybody else, because we are getting a lot of interest in our soccer fields and our basketball courts right now. There's lots of contracts out there for rentals on that. So we have, already blocked out time for them in May for rain dates.
Okay. And then any travel team that was interested, that would fall into, like looking at our roster, for example, you have 60% Tallmadge residency, so then that would fall into the 50% discount based on the grid? Is that correct?
I do believe so.
Okay.
I'm looking at it right now.
Correct.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right.
You have other questions?
Yes, I do have a question. So every year, we hear the same about the struggles of finding lifeguards. So I was curious if we have conducted any sort of post-employment survey given to those seasonal workers to actually get some data back from them as to, what is our retention rate for lifeguards? Are we keeping the same guards year in, year out, or are we having to kind of regroup every single year? And what are those reasons for if they aren't coming back the next year? Just to kind of find out, is it pay? Is it a work environment? The number of hours? What does it truly come down to? So.
Councilman, it's a mix. We do bring back some, and we don't some don't come back, so it's a mix, and right now it's pay. They can get paid more money somewhere else.
But do we have that in a data form coming back from the actual guards?
No, but we do talk with them and find out what they do want and what would make it better, so we do converse with them.
Okay.
And that's why the change in the pay is coming up and more lifeguards so that they're not, working 40-plus hours or 29 hours is how many they can work, I think, for their part-time status. Because a lot of them have other things going on as well, too, so it's hard to get them to work extra shifts. So if you have more of them taking up the time, then it just helps.
Thank you. Any other questions, comments?
Yeah, I have one. As far as the lifeguards go, I would imagine the rec center is less busy in the summer and more busy, and then MAC is busy, and then in the winter would be peak season for probably the rec. Is that accurate?
I would say it's not dead accurate.
I've been a member for a while. It seems like it's a lot less busy in the summer than it is in the winter, at least when I go. I didn't know if there was opportunities for dual-use employees that, they're going to be at the rec to handle the overflow in the winter. They're going to be lifeguarding in the summer.
That does occur now. The problem is it's minimal number that are certified to be lifeguards.
Do we incentivize that at all?
Have more money. Seriously, bump up their pay, that'll incentivize, that'll do it.
Thank you. I think,
Jessica, did you have anything you wanted to add on this?
No,
Okay. I was just going to offer.
no. Thank you.
Did we cover it all?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay.
okay. With that, I think that's tied to the budget, so we will move that into second reading. Next up is ordinance 2024-68 Exhibit A, expressing intent to sell unneeded, obsolete, or unfit vehicles and equipment and providing for immediate enactment. Sponsor of this ordinance is Director of Public Service, Mr. Rohr. This ordinance is read into record. Mr. Rohr, do you have anything you want to add?
No, just some of the vehicles are actually second use. Those are some police vehicles. If you look at the Crown Victoria, that would not be a normal road department vehicle. So, but we were able to get a couple more years out of it, so these have served their purpose.
They're perfect, long overdue. Yeah.
Especially that 1978 tractor mower.
Yes, yeah. Okay, thank you. And is there any questions, comments? With that, there's a motion for this ordinance?
Motion.
Can we
Second.
specify what the motion is? Is it to?
Motion to pass.
Motion
Thank you.
I'll second that.
Second? Okay. We have a motion and a second. Madam Clerk, can you please call the roll? Oh, is there any discussion? All right, hearing none. Madam Clerk, could you please call the roll?
Jessica Epstein,
Yes.
Mary Gutman,
Yes.
Donald Pavlik,
Yes.
Ted Roy,
Yes.
Nick Rubino,
Yes.
Jonathan Bolus.
Yes.
Adam Bozick.
Yes.
Okay, motion passes 7-0.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And thank you. That is all for finance unless anybody from council wants to add anything. Hearing none, I will close finance. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to Personnel Committee, Councilman Bullis.
Thank you. Good evening. I call Personnel Committee to order. Personnel Committee deals with personnel, labor relations, insurance claims, rules of council, and state statutes. This evening, we have first readings and ordinances and resolutions. Ordinance 2024-66 tracked. There's a public hearing on December 12th, 2024 at 7:05 p.m. This is an ordinance establishing the number of non-collective bargaining employees by department and position pursuant to RC 731.08 and providing for immediate enactment. Sponsor of this ordinance is Mayor Kilway. Mayor, any comments or?
I mean, this is all tied to the budget, so if we want to wait and discuss it during the budget meeting, I think that'd be best. Okay? Is there any questions that you have specifically? I mean,
I do not at
okay,
this time.
thanks.
Anything else to come? So we'll keep ordinance 2024-66 tracked for another reading, actually two separate readings for the public hearing. Anything else to come before Personnel Committee this evening?
Councilman Bullitt.
Yes.
I would offer to all of council that once you've had a chance to look at this, please call me, and I can discuss it with you and Ally, our HR, Miss Ally Schwartz, our HR manager, can also, we're more than happy to discuss it prior to the budget meeting, so you have a better understanding if anybody has any questions.
Thank you. And also just wanted to express my thank you to the administration and to our HR manager for meeting with myself and Councilman Pavlik on the 17th to review the personnel. Had a really good overview in terms of the status of everything, and I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Councilman Bullis.
Yes.
I just had a quick question. I mean, obviously, thank you for the invite to give you guys a call for any questions we may have. There are several positions that are, crossed out, and there are some, I wouldn't say significant changes, but there are quite a few changes. So is there a, just kind of a general summary that you could provide us, written summary, and maybe email out to us?
Absolutely. I will get that out by close of business tomorrow.
Great, thank you.
All right. Anything else to come before Personnel Committee this evening? All right. Close committee. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to our Safety Committee, Councilman Rubino.
Thank you. The Safety Committee deals with disaster services, communications, fire, and paramedics, police, and health. We currently have no legislation before us tonight. Does anybody have any discussion for the Safety Committee? Hearing none, I close committee.
Thank you. Moving on to Community Issues Committee, Councilman Roy.
Yes, tonight I'd like to open up Community Issues. Community Issues Committee deals with Parks and Recreation, Civic Affairs, and liaison between Council and the Recreation Board and Intergovernmental Affairs. Tonight we have no legislation. Is there anything else anybody else would like to speak about? If not, I will close Community Issues. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to our Public Service Committee, Councilwoman Epstein.
Thank you. I call Public Service Committee to order. The Public Service Committee deals with streets, highways, sidewalks, buildings, and improvements, water, sewer, electricity, gas, energy resources, recycling, waste, and trash. We have nothing before us this evening. Are there any additional items from council? All right, hearing none, I close committee.
Thank you. Moving on to reports of special committees. We have our Council Operations Committee. Mr. Bolus?
Nothing new for council operations. No report tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. And if you bear with me for 1 second, I do have some, not the data that we're typically used to, but I know Gina had put together one of our council clerks, put together a quick overview of our last few meetings. And of course, I can't find it right now. But viewership has been very good for our live streaming. And throughout the course of the meeting, it's been pretty good. Usually we kind of tail off towards the end, but overall, the meetings have stayed pretty consistent. So that's good to hear and good to see. So, any other announcements?
I had one.
Yes, sir.
Do we have to set a time for the budget workshop, or has it been set for 5:30 or 6 p.m.?
I believe in the past
5
we've
o'clock,
done
I
6
believe.
p.m., but if we want to make it official, we can definitely set it for.
Thanks for checking.
I have it at 6.
That's good.
Right.
All right.
Well, then, so be it. Council budget meeting will be 6 p.m. on November 6th. And just a reminder that we have our overlay meeting scheduled for next Tuesday with a start time of 5:30. 5 o'clock. And thank you. I had a conversation with Ms. Raber, whether that would be live streamed. Joe confirmed that this evening, so thank you. So I think that'll be good. If members of council administration will help push that through our social media or any interactions we have with the community, I think that would be very good for us. Any other announcements? Nope. All right. With that, I will take a motion for adjournment.
Motion to adjourn?
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Madam Clerk?
Mary Getman,
Yes.
Donald Pavlik.
Yes.
Ed Roy,
Yes.
Nick Rubino,
Yes.
Jonathan Bolus.
Yes.
Adam Bozick,
Yes.
Jessica Epstein.
Yes.
All right, thank you. The time is 7:47 and we are adjourned.
Thank you very much.